Hey, what's up guys, it's Steph, and we are going into this video talking about Teen Angst, Naaah by Ned Vizzini. So I don't necessarily want to call this a book review because this is an autobiography, and those are always weird things to judge. Like, non-fiction things are really hard things to strictly judge and things like that. So I just kind of want to talk about this book because I was super stoked to find this at one of my favorite local bookstores, the Book Barn. I almost didn't see this. I was on a low shelf looking at some books coming up, and it was right in my face. Teen Angst by Ned Vizzini. I've been looking for this book, been wanting to read this book, so I audibly gasped in a very quiet bookstore when I found this baby, and it's mine now. So for those of you who may not know, Ned Vizzini is one of my favorite authors. He wrote Be More Chill, which I'll admit the book isn't that great. I made a full book review. Like, very in the early days of my channel, I did a book versus musical, because musical is my jam, as you know. And he also wrote It's Kind of a Funny Story, which is like 400-something pages. I read it in one day and absolutely loved that. And I just love his perspective. I love Ned Vizzini's stuff that I've read so far. This makes book number 3. But there's 1 or 2 other books, and then there's also a series he wrote with someone else. And I want to read those. Those are on my list, but to finally have read this one, I'm so hyped. Like I said, I just want to talk about it because Ned Vizzini is one of my favorite authors. Like, it's always sad to think about the fact that he's not here anymore, so we won't get any new works from him. And there's just nothing about him adding more to this world, but what he left behind is fantastic. Although some of it, I will admit, some people are definitely not going to like it. Some of his works are definitely set in the age that they were written, in the early 2000s. They're definitely a reflection of that time period and of the mindset of that time period. So I can see a lot of people not liking his writing and not liking his books. But reading this, it was so interesting because, like I said, this is an autobiography. And reading this and seeing like him just talking to you, but the reader, you can really see how he puts himself into his characters and his books, and how he manages to wrap his experience into his stories. And it was just really interesting. So Teen Angst, Naaah follows his journey from middle school through high school, and right there at the end of high school. I don't know if it's in every version, but I know at least this version that came out in 2000. That was 19 years ago. Oh my gosh. There's also this post-high school scene where he talks about writing Be More Chill, being in this 2-book contract, and how, like, just the pressures of the 2-book contract put him in after writing Be More Chill. He couldn't think of anything. How the prelude for It's Kind of a Funny Story, how he ended up getting to this place where he ended up calling a suicide hotline and going somewhere to stay. And that led into writing It's Kind of a Funny Story, because I believe he wrote that in about a month after leaving the facility that he had stayed in after calling the suicide hotline. And it talks about that bit in the book as well. At the very end of It's Kind of a Funny Story, you see that little bit. And then he talks about it a bit more right here. It's just how he wraps his experience with everything and how he views the world and like his thinking. It was really interesting because he goes from like 12 to 19, 12 to 18, 19. Around those ages, that's when like the setting of him in this book. And it was cool, and to read about someone who's from somewhere completely different from where I am. I'm in California. He grew up in around Manhattan in New York. So just like the, not biological, what's the word? Just like the scenic differences and like the state differences, I guess that would be the word. It was super interesting to me, and honestly just learning more about one of my favorite authors. I was so stoked and excited about it, and it was just really cool. Honestly, reading this, I saw a lot of It's Kind of a Funny Story in here, which makes sense because, like I've said and like the book says, it's based on his experience, though not quite the same, just slightly tweaked. He talks about how he went to this, like, school you had to take a test to get into for high school. He talks about some things that's, like, you link them to the story, and it's like, wow, that's where he got the inspiration for this bit. And it's like his mind process, like, thinking into going this. It was just so good and just interesting. I'm not good at giving positive things. Like, I really enjoyed it. The words were nice. It was a really good book if you're at all interested in learning more about Ned Vizzini, who he was, and like his experience growing up in these like middle school through high school grades. It was really interesting, and as me, someone who really loves his works and what his works have inspired and created, this was just a really good thing to start 2019 for me. Like, it's the first book I've read. Technically, I read a Steven Universe comic book right after midnight on New Year's, but this is my first book finished in 2019. And I'm just super stoked about it because I found it in 2019, I read it in 2019, 19 years after it was published, but, you know, that doesn't matter. It was beautiful and I loved it. I kind of wish more authors had some little, like, bio pieces out there. This is, like, 200-something pages. I wish some more authors had that out there. I just love to read about their experiences and their thought processes and how they dealt with things and how they were inspired to do other things. I would love that if more authors did short books like that. That would be so cool. Anyway, this is the first one that I've read and found, and like I said, I was so stoked to find it. Going with my Ned Vizzini collection, which is mostly encased with copies of Be More Chill, because I have almost every cover, because I'm trash like that. Anyway, that's all I've got for you guys today. I just wanted to gush about Ned Vizzini books again. And yeah, I love it. I love his style of covers, because a lot of his covers do keep the same format of, like, the headspace. We have Be More Chill is like this, one of the editions. It's kind of a funny story has like this. Teen Angst Naaah is like this, with like the outline of the head, and you have something going on inside of it and things going on outside of it. That's also another really interesting thing that I really enjoy about his books. But anyway, that's all I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this, just me talking about Teen Angst Naaah by Ned Vizzini. And if you guys want to pick it up and learn a bit more about Ned Vizzini, please do. It was a fun read. It's about 200-something pages. If you're looking to hit that Goodreads goal this year, it's not too long. It's a good starting point for you. If you want to see my other videos from 2019, there's actually 2 of them. One actually kind of pertains to Ned Vizzini because it's about Be More Chill. Granted, the musical, but still. The other one is a discussion video about the bookshelf debate, which was a thing on Twitter about a week ago. That was a thing. I made a video talking about it. You can check those videos out on the side. If you want to subscribe, my face will be right here, as well as the button down there. Hit the bell icon to be notified when I post new videos on Mondays and Fridays. And that's all I've got for you guys today. I hope you have a lovely day/night, and I'll see you later.